Exodus chapter 23 verse 2 states the following: You shall not follow a majority in wrongdoing. When you bear witness in a lawsuit, you shall not side with the majority so as to pervert justice. I think verse 3 is pretty interesting, and I would like to discuss that in another video. But I would like to use verse 2 to talk about something else. There is another biblical passage in the New Testament. It says something to the effect of whatever is good, whatever is great, whatever is excellent, pursue these things in the Lord. Something along those lines. It's like if it's like you can summarize what it means to be a Christian. Your goal, your duty, your life is to pursue excellent things. And why do I talk about excellence in relation to chapter 3, Exodus, verse 2? Because here it's looking at the opposite situation, where the enemy of excellence drags us even down to a level that is beneath our dignity and to a way of living that hurts others and hurts ourselves, right? And it's called the majority. The word excellent, the first part of it means to excel. To excel means to go beyond. That ex in Latin normally refers to various words in English that have to do with going out, going beyond, right? Excellence, to excel. To excel what? I'll get to that just now, but we have this misconception of excellence. Like, we think of like a continuum of work done, right? Say this is bad work, this is great work, right? Somewhere just beneath great is excellent, right? And then so great, excellent, good, okay, mediocre, slightly poor, bad, terrible, and so on. No. Excellence isn't on this continuum. Excellence implies that there's a marker. And when you reach that marker, let's say that's the norm, or even that's the good standard. To excel is to go beyond the marker, the good standard, the norm, in the direction of what is good, not obviously in the opposite direction, in the direction of what is good. To be another EX word, which actually refers to the idea of outside, extraordinary. Extra, outside, ordinary, of the norm, of what everybody else is doing, of the majority. In my journey in life, I've always thought of myself as someone who loves excellence, but I've realized that I struggle to live the life of excellence. Excellence is hard. Excellence is tough. Excellence pushes you. There's a lot of podcasts where, we're obviously in this age where a lot of people are calling for something like work-life balance. And that makes sense. And yet all the people who are, wealthy and pursuing success in life say that there was no work-life balance in their 20s when they were doing this, or whenever that age range was when they were really working hard. There was no work-life balance then, because they realized that they were pushing beyond what others were trying to do. They were not doing what the majority was doing. They were doing more in the direction of the good. They were excelling. They were trying to excel. Excellence is hard. But despite how hard excellence is, there's always this little evil in us that wants the fruits of excellence without making the sacrifices of excellence. Like most people, if they could get a cheap Ferrari, would, or a cheap mansion on the hill, they would. But each of these things in their construction, or by virtue of how it is you could earn the kind of living that would afford you such things, these things are excellent things. right? It takes a master architect to be able to design a really good house and embed it into, say, the hillside, etc. That's part of why it costs so much, you know. And by saying that this house is, I don't know, 10 million rand, what is actually being said there is that this is an excellent house, and you should be at the level where you are able to afford that house, and that should be, I say should, be available to people who are excellent only. Right? Obviously, people hack the system, there's crime, etc. But that's kind of what that means. The same with, say, buying a Ferrari or a Lambo or any other thing that is pricey. To say it's pricey is a great sacrifice. It'll cost a great sacrifice for you to obtain this thing, right? And great sacrifices are what excellence also demands. You know. Here's the thing. I guess the question is, if you're going to live, which is what you're doing, especially if you're watching this video, why not live excellently? At some level, what's the point if you're not going to live excellently? If you're not going to push beyond? And it's not necessarily about career or anything. You're going to try and be an excellent friend, or an excellent mom, excellent son, excellent weekend golfer. Just whatever you do, you're going to try and do it. You're going to try and go beyond the markers, the ordinary, the majority. Not because the majority is bad, at least in this context. Because why not take life by the lapels and live excellently? I want to say excellent a lot in this video, and I think I'm doing excellently at doing that. We have one life. I think if one thing that has made itself known to me is that it's perhaps worth it to live that one life excellently.